future, the world is waiting now. Dreams are in the making, we'll show you how. From the books to the screen, from the stage to the stars, level up your game, let's raise the bar. Innovation, inspiration, it's in our DNA. Breaking through the limits, we're paving the way. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. Empowered in your passion, your voice will be heard. Building a legacy with every word. From podcasts to pages, from business to art, Level Up's the place where it all can start. With heart and with vision, we're chasing every goal. Together we'll ignite the fire in your soul. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, we're trailblazing, breaking through the mold. Dreams are alive, let your story unfold. With courage and pride, we'll take the fight. At Level Up, we own the night. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. So let's level up and never look back. On the road to greatness, we're on the right track. Together we'll soar, together we'll fly. At Level Up Academy, we're alive.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are. So, I know, I suck, huh? I'm not here for consistency. I'm the one who's talking about consistency, but I'm not consistent on my own, like literally. But it'll be like, CJ, why are you not consistent? Listen, it's called life, okay? Um, things happen for a reason, and we are here where we can't. And I'm all about transparency, authenticity, and also really about putting my time where it really matters, right? Kind of, I need to back up like 5 steps just to see exactly where are we going with this. Where are we taking our influence, right? People are listening, watching, wherever you are. Thank you so much for being here and for your continued support. Even when I don't show up, you show up for me. I truly, truly, truly appreciate that. Okay, so that is why Susanna and I are talking about, she has her own thing, and it looks like, we're partnering on a lot of things because we are. We're both educators, and I wanted to make sure that we are looking at really putting our time where it needs to be. We still support businesses out there, obviously, because we are here to support and level up all of the world, right? That is such a big claim, like level up the whole entire world. It's a huge claim. So that's why we're here to show up. And don't think that, oh, what makes you guys an expert, right? Because we're all about authority and credibility. It's not about the backlinks. It's not about, the magazines. That's just part of it. What really matters, truly matters, is where we're coming from, right? We're an advanced student. That's what we are. We're an expert on a lot of things. And what makes you an expert? Like, ask yourself, why do you listen to your doctor? If they tell you, hey, you need this medicine, you're like, okay, why do you listen to your doctors? Right? Why do you go to a specialist? Ask yourself that. What makes them have the authority and the credibility to do what they do for you? Why do you believe what they say? Ask yourself. But yet, if you have someone like somebody who's not in the field of medical, automatically they're just not, having authority. No, it's because of the education, the discipline, right? The amount of reading and research that we do. That is the reason why you do that, right? And just because right nowadays, right, before we specialize on things where you basically said, hey, I do machinery, and that's all you do, and anything about machinery, you know it, you specialize on it. Because why? It takes so much time to study something else. But we live in a world where we can study anything. You have no excuses. I don't know anything about history, then read. I don't know anything about business, then read. I don't know anything about my animals, then read. That's literally what I'm going to tell you. But you have to also be careful because everybody somehow is an expert nowadays just because they have ChatGPT in the palm of their hand. Really? Really? No, right? You believe people because you like them at the end of the day, right? You believe people because you like them, and their logic somehow is what? Similar to your logic. And most people, if not all people, can see through others. Sometimes, for some reason, Susana and I have this conversation where we literally see the people who are not good in their hearts win all the time in the conversation. And the good people just stay still. We're quiet, we're silent. Why is that? Why do we do that? It's time for us to rise and stand up for good, period, right? So, here we're going to talk about academia unfiltered, the state of higher education, and the adjunct reality. Maybe you're thinking of changing your career. Maybe you have a lot of expertise and experience in the field of business or in the field of arts, in the field, we all need it. Just because your major is in art or history doesn't mean you don't matter. Of course you do. Not everybody wants to be a major in business. Not everybody wants to do STEM. Not everybody likes math or economics or finance, right? Some people are complacent. It's okay because that's what they choose. But if you choose to be complacent, don't whine about things in your life that it doesn't go right. It's because you made that choice. Even God gave you, right, the power of choice. So choose wisely. Now, adjunct faculty are a huge part of higher education. Not everybody who teaches at university, guys, have tenure or tenure track. Across the US colleges and universities, there are over 650,000 adjuncts faculty. About 40% of all faculty members, okay, are adjunct. 40%. So out of your 10 teachers, 4 of them are adjunct. What does adjunct mean? Do you guys know what adjunct means? Because in our world, it just means, oh, okay, it's just part time, right? That's just part time. What do you mean just part time? Do you know what their loads are? Susanna will tell you about that. Susanna will tell you about that. Okay. So let's go ahead and talk about it some more. Let me put my sister up. Hi, everybody. Okay, so let me put my sister on stage. Hi, sis. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's a cold, wet morning, but I'm doing okay.
Yeah, so adjunct, right? You're an adjunct now. You're an adjunct faculty. Where does that come from? What does that mean? When you say I'm an adjunct teacher or a professor, what does that mean?
I mean, it's easy to say part time because it is. It's not a full time gig. It's at will. So you're actually at will for what the university has, what they university college. And you may never exactly know what classes you're going to get until it's about time to teach them. because they're going to look and see what's your background. So I mean, it should fit your background, but it's sometimes you don't know what you're going to get until you get, and then you got to figure it out.
More often than not. So I was actually looking at the roots, like where, I mean, everything it comes from Latin, right? Honestly, that's like where all the roots of all English words, to be honest, like it seems like it, but it is. It is and it isn't. Okay. So adjunct literally means to attach to join to. It's not the main thing itself, but it's literally added on. That's all literally it means. So you're an adjunct, you're added on. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean you're anything less than a teacher, because some people
No,
used to, well, she's just an adjunct. It doesn't mean that. It's a choice that they want to do part-time. Some of them just want to do part-time because guess what? They have a full-time job, right? Some of us have full-time because that's what we want to do for full-time. But at the same time, the rigor and the amount of work you do between 1, 2, or 3 classes is the same. It's the same,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So tell me about your experience right now that you are a teacher.
Yeah, sister's fault. Um,
True.
but it's actually fun because of the different classes. For me, it's not only is it different classes, I feel like they've carved out a certain class that's basically just mine. So whenever it's a class that doesn't always show up, but when it does, it's my class. And I've been able to modify it, update it to what I want, and that's history because I've got a master's in history, and I got that this term. So it's fun because I get to keep changing it, updating it, making it better. But then I've had international business, I've had intro to business, doing business law this term. So it's just a variety of classes, and getting to know the students, getting to, in some ways, like you say, there's constant learning involved, whether we're learning from the students or whether we're learning a topic that maybe we don't have the depth in as we do for some others, but we can teach it, and then you're gaining more knowledge through that class to teach the students, and it just makes you more rounded. It's like educators are never ending learners.
Because we're advanced learners. Literally, that's what I always tell them. Guys, we're advanced learners because we have to constantly, learn about certain things, learn about that. And also you get to learn more. And the best part of being a teacher, honestly, is you learn more from your students and you learn more from researching and reading than anything else. It's like you're getting paid to read, at the end of the day, and you're getting paid to learn about humanity, about the learning process. And really, if you think about it, yeah, your classroom is your petri dish, if you will, right? You're seeing all the dynamics, the personalities. So
Mhm.
everything is also psychology. If the students, okay, it doesn't matter how much degree or how many degrees you have, if the students can't connect with you and you have no rapport with them, they're not gonna trust you or believe in you, right?
Right.
Um, so also you guys were asking, hey, where did you get those information about 40% of all faculty members or 650,000 are adjunct? Go to the EDU ledger, guys. This was about 2 days ago. They put it in there. Let me know if you need the link. I'll definitely put that in. Now, pay and benefits reality. Let's talk about that. The median pay for adjuncts between 2024 and 2025 last year was 1166 per credit, right? That's about 3400, 3500 for 3 credit course, but about 37% of institution actually offer health benefits to adjunct faculty. Not a lot of adjuncts will get the benefits, only the full time. And really some of it is because of the state, right? There's mandate. In most universities or colleges, you get actually, let's see, when you get paid, you basically get per student, sometimes per class. Now in California we do per hour. We don't really give you per student, it's per hour in California, right? It doesn't matter how many students you have. But if you are in other states, they usually do it per student, right? And basically, it's a lot of people don't do adjuncts because you need that benefit. Have you guys seen how much medication costs nowadays? Or to go to a doctor, it's a lot of money. So a lot of people take the lesser pay just because they have benefits, right? So they do that. Now in 2022, 44% of US post-secondary faculty were part-time. Okay, 44% in the entire United States. So however many millions we have, 44% of that were faculty part-time, right? That's how much contingent the adjunct teaching matters. So there's decades long trends show a major shift from traditional tenure lines towards contingent or non-tenure, right? That means it's just faculty that are becoming the norm. 68% of faculty today are in non-tenure eligibility contingent position versus 32% of tenure or tenure track. Tenure track, what does that mean? What do you know anything about tenure track versus non-tenure, sister?
With a tenure, first off, you're going to have to be full time, and it just depends on how long. The way I understand it is, it's a time frame where once you start, after a certain amount of time, and as long as whoever's in charge of that department is happy with what you're doing, then you can get tenure, and that essentially means it's going to be hard to get rid of you.
Essentially hard to get rid of you. Oh my gosh, that's funny. I love it. I love it. I'm like, sorry guys, I gotta put my glasses on because I'm like, I can't read what I'm actually putting in. Yeah, so the tenure track usually is like the traditional academic pathway, right? You're hired usually like an assistant professor or associate professor or full professors. And then in about I think on average between 5 to 7 years, you're evaluated on your entire teaching. Research, they want you to be researching, publishing, and service to institutions. That means you're part of the committee work, right? And then your student evaluation is also above average, not a 3 but a 4 and up, right? And then curriculum development, once you start developing a curriculum, all of that becomes, you become a subject matter expert, then you're on that tenure track, right? Long-term job security, like you said, protection from being fired without a cost, academic freedom to research and publish, institutional voting power if there's times of voting power, and leadership opportunities and retirement, and stable salary. Once you are tenured, you're considered part of the university's permanent intellectual capital. Yeah, you're not attached anymore, you're not embedded anymore, you're literally embedded through the fabric of that university, right? But a lot of colleges nowadays, they don't do that anymore because it gives too much money to back to the people instead of the university, and they want to make money, especially if they're for profit. um what are some of your thoughts right now, sister, in terms of teaching? What are the pros and cons you think that you could provide someone? Holy moly, 544. I thought that's okay. Anyway, ADHD moment.
And that was almost as soon as we started, dear.
I can't even think. I was just talking. Okay. So, what do you think if you're someone right now watching and you're actually thinking, hey, how can I become a teacher, a professor? Right? What are some of your pros and cons so far?
So on the pros, I mean, there is the pay, so we'll just put that on the side. The classes, especially when I've got classes that I love, or classes that it's interesting and I'm going to learn something from it. I haven't really had any classes that I'm like, oh, do I have to teach this? So that's been nice. But there's no guarantee on that. So on the con side, it's like you could end up with a class that maybe it's not you, and you're not comfortable with it. And the problem is the students are going to find that out too. They'll realize if you're not into it, they're not going to be into it. And that's another of the pros is getting to know the students and really trying to go in there with a positive approach, uh, not to be not to be a stick in the mud, um, to try and make sure that you're keeping them engaged, and that can go both ways. I mean, if you're keeping them engaged and going well, that's positive because you're generating your positive energy in the class. Uh, but if you're not able to get engaged, you're not getting them to participate in class, then that can be a downer because the more they aren't engaged, that's where some of the energy comes from, is that engagement, that you're bouncing things off and having them even put some jokes into the chat just based on whatever the topic is you're talking about. And I had some of that last night where um, there was somebody's name that was called like Short Pippin or something, and then somebody goes into short jokes for some reason, and it's like it brings everybody into the class, and it hits on the person's name, and for some of them now they will probably never forget that name.
Yeah. So that's one good pro. I mean, couple of pros in there. For me, I think that there's a two flip. Well, there's more problems, but two flip problems that I see, or I should say challenges, not necessarily a problem because we're gonna solve that, right? Hopefully, whoever's in charge of education in America, right? So the natural enrollment declines combined with demographic shifts, right? That means there's fewer 18-year-olds nowadays that are going into college. And these types of decisions are causing institutions to restructure the staffing model, right? Because this will boost resilience on adjuncts and contingent professors. Now, there's a lot of reasons out there, but this is just my opinion, guys. Okay. The reason that a lot of people, like my kids, didn't go to college right away because they wanted gap year. And the reason that I even allow it because I came from traditional, like old school, like you have to go to college right after high school and things like that. But if you see that you are only in debt, but you're not even able to find a job, like look at all the people that got fired from Meta or Google, right? Or got let go or early retirement. They still have to go back now to work, right? Because everything is so expensive. And all your 18 to 25-year-old can't even find a job that can pay with them with benefits. So they're like, Mom, these are college graduate. Why what they're on debt and they can't even find a job. And they're actually working on a job that they don't like, right? So they're smart. They're like, no, I don't want to go in there. Yeah. So now they rent a home, a 5 bedroom home, and each bedroom is an 18 to 25-year-old who's renting it and just working, right? Trying to figure out life and having a good time at the same time, right? Whereas before, for me, I was working right away, even during high school. So there's a shift. So now colleges are thinking, okay, how do we make sure that education is still part of our society? Because it should be. Imagine someone just read and have AI next to them and work at, let's say, fast food industry, and then you come in for a checkup on your kidney and you're like, oh yeah, you definitely need to get your kidney removed. I read it on ChatGPT. No thank you, right? So you still need to have education to educate yourself, and we're laughing, but seriously, that's gonna happen, right? You're like, oh, we don't need education, we read it, the AI will do it for us. No thank you, right? You still need to kind of navigate through that. So that is one of the benefits of education, is you're going to get those skills that you need. Now, one of my students actually wanted me to address this. What is the difference between a college versus a university? Because there's also this perception that if you go to a college and your degree, you get your degree there, it's actually not. doesn't hold as much weight as a university degree. I actually fall into that category back when I was a student. Like, I don't want to go to a community college. I want to go to a university because I don't want to get a degree there, even if you can get your associate's degree, because it's looked down upon, right? That's called ignorance. Okay. So that's called ignorance. Um, I think people who go to community college are smart because they're not spending four times more in their education when you're definitely the same education, right? We talked about if you're a part-time or a full-time, it doesn't matter. The rigor is still the same, right? University, literally, I'll tell you the difference. So college is just primarily focused on teaching, undergraduate education, practical career education, something that you can like get certified and then go into work, right? Associates and bachelor's degree is usually the only thing that they can offer on those colleges because it's about workforce readiness, right? They don't offer a master's program usually, they don't offer doctoral programs. They also have, sometimes they might have limited master's degrees, right? You could have that. But they also have much smaller classes. You don't see, 100 people or 50 people. Let me see my class. In a class usually, and focus heavily on institution over research. That's really what colleges are, right? Community colleges. They're there for training, for upskill, for certifications. These students are transitioning into the workforce or transitioning into the university who wants to save money, right? So access, affordability, and applied learning. Think of those three for colleges. Now, university will have multiple colleges in it, meaning they have graduate schools, they have research institutions, they have doctoral programs, they have professional schools like law or medicine, right? And inside the university, you'll see like College of Business, College of Engineering, College of Arts and Sciences, School of Education, Public Health, right? Universities are built for teaching, research, knowledge production, grant funding, doctoral training, academic publishing, right? Faculty, especially on tenure track, are evaluated not just on teaching, but on peer reviewed publications, conferences, presentations, funded research, institutional service. All of those things are the university. So those only the difference has nothing to do with that. And yes, some colleges are better than others, some universities are better than others. Just like people, some are better than others. You know what I mean? Like some are better teachers than others. So the bottom line, college, think of it as teaching institution, and universities teaching plus research, right? That's the whole difference between the two. Now, when it comes to our education today, sister, what are some of your feelings and thoughts about that?
Well, education today. Um, well, I'll just jump into AI because we're dealing with that all the time, and that's probably one of the biggest challenges that we have to deal with right now. And you and I are seeing it a lot, where trying to get students to learn how to use it as a tool and not to do its work. That would be one of the biggest challenges right now. And the other one too, especially with who we've got, they are the older students. My classes are probably 2/3 maybe are veterans, and the majority of those veterans are retired. So it's also just being able to work with them, because I've had some of them that they're looking at the requirements. They feel like they're getting hit by the requirements, and it can even impact their PTSD. And so there's a lot of things that we have to deal with in the challenges with the students of teaching and trying to keep them engaged, keep them positive, and in many ways trying to make sure that we're not doing something that discourages them. Just like giving the feedback needs to be positive as much as possible, not nitpicky. And there's sometimes I know I get a little nitpicky on some stuff, but normally it's when somebody's just not paying attention. It's like, I keep telling you, you need to do XYZ. But other than that, those are probably the two biggest challenges right now, is dealing with AI and making sure that it's their own thoughts, not something else, and making sure that um, you're keeping them engaged in a positive way. And you're muted.
Of course I am. Chichi's sleeping. Hi,
It's
Miguel.
Chichi.
Oh, Miguel is gonna be doing the workshop like what I had you done last year. He's gonna
Yep.
do a workshop in 2 weeks. So Miguel, if you're still here, that's what you're gonna be doing. I'm just saying. And
Yes,
Miguel's like, what? What? Oh my gosh. Um, you know, let's talk about 2026. So I talk about history in the last, couple years. And I want you to know that if you're in higher education, we're not collapsing, guys. Okay. I'm saying we're just calibrating. Just like any other industry, when there's something new that comes up, we're calibrating, right? Every single era that we have, we go from, used to be education was a thing like in this country where any educators you're highly regarded, and then it went down, and then it went to the science, then it went to healthcare, and now back to science, right? And technology. So we're just recalibrating. It's not going to go away, right? So if you are a faculty, hone in your AI skills. Read, and read, right? Because you're going to get left behind if you don't. Remember, the enrollment shifts that I mentioned is traditional 18 to 22-year-old students population. They're shrinking because they're so smart on doing AI, right? And adult learners and career changes are rising, just like what Susana said. The college that we work are predominantly adult learners. They happen to be either a business owner or a veteran or a spouse of a veteran. That's rising. And if you happen to be teaching online programs, that is the dominance right now because the convenience is there, everyone is there, and we have the technology to do so. Using cameras and things like that. So colleges are competing for students differently now, right? Retention matters more than recruitment at this point, right? Because they have a lot of options to go anywhere else. There's also that financial pressure. Institutions are restructuring, programs with low enrollment are being cut out. Um, 2 years ago, I was a dean of business and accounting was phased out, right? They don't need accounting because AI does the calculation nowadays. So just pay attention to the trend. Departments are merging, right? About us, look at us. We're doing business and IT at the same time, right? They're merging. Hiring are freezing, are common, and also hiring, if you have a lot more students coming in, hiring are increasing depending on where you're at. Higher ed is operating more like a business nowadays, right? The metrics matters like retention rates or student satisfaction or graduation rates or cost efficiency. So I'm asking you guys, if institutions are tightening budgets, who becomes the flexible workforce? Who do you think?
It's
Susanna, adjunct, right? Because they're contingent upon faculty now that make up the majority of the institution staff nationwide. Why do you think adjuncts most of the time you work for 2, 3, 4, 5 universities? That was my life, right? I work for multiple universities because they offer cost flexibility, they're scalable, you got course-based hiring, you're specialized on certain expertise, and adjunct roles are not an accident. They're a structural strategy for most colleges and universities. Adjuncting, is that the word? Yes, I think it is. Is not temporary patch. It's a staffing model that most college and universities have, right? Adjunct roles are increasing, tenure lines are decreasing, admin oversight is increasing because they're like, where's my money going? Right? The power dynamics is also kind of changing. So are adjuncts being positioned as disposable labor or strategic contributors? What do you think, sister?
both. In many ways, I feel like it's both. Because they are the contributors. Each of them has the background for whatever they're being brought in to teach.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll go with the disposable as well, because if one's not working, then I have a feeling the colleges and universities just figure there's more out there that can replace them. So if this one's not working, then they can get another one. And it doesn't take your business lesson. It doesn't take a lot of cost to really let an adjunct go and bring another one in, as opposed to hiring a full timer. And then if you let them go and bring in a new one, that's going to be more expensive.
Yeah, because the training, the experience, really, here's what I'm going to tell you, because I've been adjuncting for 15, 18 years. Um, it has definitely changed in terms of the way that adjuncts are performing or expected to perform. What I can tell you is this: if your personality is flexible, you're kind, you like to listen, and you adapt, um, then you'll be successful. You'll be successful because it's all about the attitude, right? You become disposable as an adjunct, even if you're an adjunct. If A, you're lazy, you're doing bare minimum in class, B, your students don't like you, C, you're focusing your feedback on what doesn't matter. Please look at the rubric, okay? And D, if you are getting mentored by someone, you shouldn't be arguing with your mentor. I'm just saying, right? You shouldn't be arguing with your mentor if they're trying to help you, because what happens is when you do that, you create animosity. They're not going to tell you their tips and tricks in the classroom. And it doesn't matter if you've been adjuncting for years, 20 years, 30 years, or you're a professional in whatever industry. Every single colleges or universities has a different expectations, has a different culture. They're successful at what they do because of their culture. Ask your students. I ask my students, guys, what is the reason why you're here at this college? And all the time they always say teachers are really nice, they're flexible, it matches my full-time job, so it's I can do what I need. So if you are a faculty, that's an adjunct, and you basically are strict and think, oh, I did this in other colleges, so I'm going to do it in this colleges, you already failed. You already failed. It's not going to work out, because you're going against, like, it's like going to the ocean and you're like, I can swim 20 miles. Sharks? What sharks? Literally, right? Because you're a swimmer. No, you're gonna drown, right? So that's what I'm my advice is: be flexible, be kind, and just be adaptable. Stop going against because you don't like that person or you don't like this person. Keep that to a minimum. Now, what colleges are actually looking for in adjunct hires? This is literally where most people don't think. Like, just because they're an adjunct somewhere else doesn't mean they can get into other adjuncts for colleges, right? I have a master's degree. I'm qualified. Most of the students will say that. That's a baseline. No, right? No. So number one is credential compliance, meaning a master's degree is a bare minimum that you need. You need 18 graduate credits in the discipline. So if you're going to teach in business, you better have at least 18 graduate credits in business, right? Accreditation alignment, meaning the university or colleges that you got your degree in is accredited, okay? Not a certificate program. Number two, teaching readiness, right? LMS familiarity, LMS, learning management system. I hate doing some short and I don't want to, define it. Learning management system. There's Canvas, there's so many things out there, right? Blackboard, Brightspace, your ability to manage grading load, right? When you said, oh, well, I have a full-time job, so I can't help you grade. You already failed in my eyes. I don't know how you're going to survive, to be honest. Clear communication. Our life literally revolves around grading. I don't know how many times my kids couldn't go somewhere because I'm grading, right? And the syllabus design, just because the syllabus is ready for you, and most of the time, by the way, when you're teaching, you can't bring your own syllabus. It's not a workshop, guys. Okay, there's a rigor that they follow. So don't demand like, oh, I'm gonna create my own curriculum and I'm gonna create my own no. No, just no. Because Not that you're not capable. They're not saying that. You're more than capable, obviously. But the university has their own rigor, their own step. There's a reason behind what they do with curriculum development. Is because they need to what? Match. So it doesn't matter who's teaching it, it's the same. The student have the same consistent expectations, right? Because guess what? They run by numbers. So if this workshop is different and that workshop is different and this curriculum is different and that curriculum, and the teacher's like, I don't know. And the students are like, I don't know, right? The only difference should not be the topic or the classes. The only difference is your personality you bring into the classroom. Okay? So you make sure that the syllabus design is there. Now, if you go to a college where you actually have to create the curriculum, there's something wrong. Right? There's something wrong. And they're not accredited. I wouldn't work for them because then your reputation, okay, that's your reputation as a teacher is down to the tube. Because if you take that experience, I'm like, yeah, I've been teaching to ABC college, and they're like, they look it up. Oh, they create their curriculum. That's a workshop. That's not a college. That's not even a university. Nothing. Right? Now, professional experience. I want you guys to really reflect. If you have at least 10 years of experience and you love going in front of people and you're good at explaining things, especially in business, technology, healthcare, and communications. Those four, okay, those 4 degrees right now are the most popular ones, right? Colleges want practitioners who can bridge theory and real world relevance. Okay, we don't live in theory anymore. ChatGPT can do that for you, literally. Right? The classroom now expect applied learning. If you can't connect theory to industry, you struggle, right? Reliability. This matters more than people realize. Department chairs value on-time grading, policy adherence, low students complaints, because there's always going to be a complaint, strong course evaluations. Those 4, if you basically are reliable, that's how they look at you, right? As adjuncts. Do you grade on time? Do you adhere to the policy? Do you have low student complaints? They expect some type of complaints because guess what? Your dean has to step out somewhere to take care of your problem. You become a problem child if the students keep complaining. They're going to get rid of you. You're going to be on that chopping block, right? And if your evaluation is strong but you have a lot of complaints, you're still going to be on that chopping block because they don't want to deal with you. They're too busy doing some other things, right? Adjuncts who are dependable gets invited back. That's why they said, hey, if you're an adjunct, it doesn't matter if you're going to be here for a long time. Next term, you might not have a class. And if you don't be given a class, that means you had too many complaints, to be honest. Right? Or your degree and the class that you're teaching is not so popular that there's no students there. But the pay reality and the workload and sustainability, right? Let's be honest, typically pay per course can range widely depending on the institution type. Workload reality, weekly discussions, moderation. We got weekly discussions, right, sister?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. 25 to 35 students per section, usually about that. Grading essays. Holy moly. APA people, and it's 7th. Okay? And you're like, well, the thing doesn't say that you need a title and a cover page. Guys, it encompasses that rule of that. Institutional training modules. Adjuncting is not light work. It is not light, right? Now, for many, the answer usually, can you build a sustainable income from adjuncting alone? Not without teaching multiple sections at multiple institutions, to be honest, right? You don't have a benefit, so if you get sick, you're going to have to pay it out of pocket. But here's the strategic shift, right? Get an adjunct should be seen as a portfolio income, a brand authority, an academic credibility, and a networking leverage. That is the pro of adjuncting, right? Not necessarily just a financial strategy, but more of, hey, I can put in my portfolio that I've been teaching, therefore I can teach at other colleges and universities now. I say that I'm going to teach you something. Like, look at the business right now, right? They don't tell you I'm a salesperson. They're going to say, like, let's educate you on this product, right? Everyone is an educator, to be honest, and deep inside them. They're just in a different realm. right? They're just in a different realm. They're creating that brand authority. Oh, she's so good at explaining this technology. You could possibly be a teacher. There's nothing wrong with that. Being a teacher nowadays is the hardest job because your student is literally, okay, have chat GPT. So if you're wrong, they're gonna tell you you're wrong. Be prepared for that, right? And how industry professional can transition into teaching. Sister, what's your take on that? What would be your advice?
That's a lot right there. Because there's a lot to deal with, and to me, the biggest thing is it's the topics themselves, making sure that you've got the grasp on the topics, and then being able to work with the students and make sure that they're learning something. Don't don't give them negative feedback all the time. Don't give them don't what was it? It's like good, bad, and then good again. I don't remember what you call that.
Hamburger? Yeah, we don't do
Yeah,
hamburger ones. Yeah, no.
yeah. Try to stay away from that, and make sure that when you do provide that feedback, you're giving them something positive to go with, and make sure they do to look at the feedback, because I got students that they're like, where's that feedback again? I shoot them out on it yesterday. It's like, guys, you got to see what I'm giving you. And then they're like, where do I find that? And then I have to walk them through it, and a couple other students chime in to help them as well. But that's a lot of what's there, and being able to coordinate getting everything done, because the
I
grading can
know.
be one of the hardest pieces of that whole puzzle. And it depends on how much time you have to get the grading done. And if you're able to get it all done on time, and especially if you're an adjunct, to be able to work around life as well as making sure you hit your deadlines and you hit your requirements. Because that's another thing. If everything is due, let's say by the end of this of 48 hours after everything is due, and yet you've got scheduled, and maybe you scheduled it in the past a long time ago and you can't change it, 2, 3, 4 hours of something in the middle of one or both of those days, that's going to put more pressure on you in terms of trying to get the grading done and to make sure that it's appropriate. It's not just checking a box, it's making sure that everything you give them is designed to help them.
Yeah. So the way I grade and the way I train teachers to grade um, is the way I would want to be graded, right? Um, Predictability is something that students see and also faculty. So what I do is I highlight the strength that they actually provide, and then the ones that most that needs improvement, I just say continuous improvement, and then I literally will tell you how to improve. I think most teachers who gives feedback that are really good is trying to tell the students, okay, you did this right, but you did this not so right. Then the students then ask the question, well, how should I do it? So your feedback should address the how should I do it. So if your feedback just highlights, oh, you need to go in depth of your research, or add the framework that we have done reading, and I think I swear 80% of them don't read the book because they don't use it as reference, or if they use it as reference, they don't even put it as in text citation. So then you gotta combat like the bad habit, okay, not just the thing. And then if they use AI, we gotta sift through if there's AI use. There's just so much involvement in grading, guys. There's so much involvement. So time management is something that you have, and I think even for ADHD people, it can be difficult because we're grading, but then you're like, oh wait, I gotta do laundry. Oh wait, I'm hungry. Oh wait, I gotta go to Costco. Oh wait, and then you're like, what the heck? It's nighttime, and you look at your grade book. Oh shoot, there's only 10 students and I have 100 students to grade, so time
Yep.
management is definitely something you need. But I do want to encourage you, if you're thinking about teaching, okay, the first thing that you need is one, academic positioning. Convert your corporate resume into an academic CV format. Highlight presentations that you've done, highlight training that you've done, highlight mentorship, certifications, and publications, right? Not anthologies mostly, but books. Number two, teaching philosophy, right? This is very critical that it shows how you approach your learning, how you engage adult learners, and your instructional strategy. How do you teach, right? And step three is start small. Apply to some adjunct pools. I guarantee you, wherever you are right now in the United States, you can actually see adjunct pools job everywhere because the universities and colleges are always looking for them, right? Reach out to department chairs, offer guest lectures, teach one course first, right? Say, hey, you don't need to leap. You just need to enter that strategically. Or have a CJ in the college and you can get in. Because you got to get your CV, right? Literally, referrals is the number one thing where most people get hired. It's that referral. And then positioning yourself for credibility and long-term impact. Speaking engagements, if you have done speaking engagements, consulting work, publishing, thought leadership, or board opportunities, take it because that will actually help you get in. If you have published articles, speak at a conference, engage in curriculum development, or build relationship with leadership. If you're on LinkedIn, look at who's the vice president, the president, the dean of the college that you want to work for, and go for there, right? Now, sister, if you had a full-time job right now, would you advise someone to do adjunct work?
If I were working full time right now, I would tell them to be careful about adjunct because you got to make sure that whatever you're doing is going to fit your schedule. If you've got too much work on your day job and it's going to bleed into making it difficult to do that adjunct work, even if it's only one class, you might want to reconsider. If you can make the schedule work and you can get everything done and bring that personality of an overflowing personality, something that you can engage with the students, not just show up, put your time in, and walk away, then look at getting an adjunct, but start with one. Don't do multiple classes, and make sure that whatever that school's schedule is, it fits your schedule. That you're going to be able to get it done. Because if you say, oh yeah, I can teach, and then you come back and it's like, well, I can't do class on these days because I've got this meeting that's set at my full-time job and I can't afford to miss it. And suddenly it's like, well, why did you even bother? Because that's the only class time we have, or that's one of your two classes that you have to teach during the week, or whatever. And it impacts the schedule. And if it impacts the schedule, it impacts the school and the students.
Yeah. So my advice would that be like if you are a corporate professional, you don't have to abandon your career, okay? You can still teach and expand it. But I would say take a non-synchronous teaching gig, meaning like if it's an online position adjunct and you don't have to do a live lecture, go for it. Because that you can go and work around time. That's what I've done for the longest time. I had a full-time job as a commercial banker, and I taught two MBA courses and one doctoral program at two different universities, plus a full-time job. Because I've done it and I'm crazy. I love the pressure, I guess, and the challenge. I like challenge, and so that I can do, right? But I didn't do live lectures. So that was around my time. Whenever I'm done with dinner, whenever it's weekend and my kids are doing something, I'm literally with computers all the time, grading on the weekend. But you can do that so long as you don't, if your job is demanding and you want to teach and kind of give that, you can do that so long as you don't do live lectures. Stability comes from strategic diversification, guys, not hoping for a full-time line, but you just want to kind of see if that's something for you. I would definitely do it. But don't do the live lectures. So Sana and I do live lectures, right? Higher education is not static. It evolves with society, and right now it's transitioning. So be flexible. That's all that I'm really gonna give you. Be flexible. If you're curious of teaching, I think you should. I will usually I have friends that I know, I'm like, okay, I think you're ready for teaching. I know that you can do this, right? And if you don't know, just ask me. I will evaluate, see if you're ready for teaching. Um, Literally, because I definitely will push you to teaching, because we need good teachers. We need people who really care about learning and sharing their knowledge, right? Not just, oh, it's another job that I'm gonna do. No, you should get out of it if that's what you see, right? It's not just oh, it's an extra income. Right, but you need to put time to it. Really, you do need to put time to it, right? It's hard to explain when you're not in there. My last message is I encourage you to think about it. I encourage you to position yourself if you're thinking about it. At least take 6 months to teach a workshop or a training, especially if you've never taught before, right? If you've never taught before, position yourself on teaching, workshop, and things like that. And let me know if you have something that you want. I'll put you on a workshop to teach with me in Entrepreneurship Club. Just hit me up. Definitely will get you into to teach a workshop and get that experience going. What's your last advice, sister, before we go?
Go into it with your eyes open. Don't think that being adjunct is the be all end all. Make sure you've got your eyes open and you know what the expectations are. Because if you can't make it, if you dive in and you can't make it and you kind of knew it wasn't going to work going into it, that could impact your ability when you do have the time later. So make sure that you're ready for it. It's one thing to try, but make sure you're ready for it.
And also, don't give your mentor an attitude. If you have a mentor, if you get trained, don't give them attitude. It's just not good for you. Anyhow, thank you guys so much. I will see you next week, and I will try to put my stuff out earlier. Grading. And Bella's here with me in the Bay, so it's kind of busy and it's super windy in here, but it is sunny. But the wind is gonna take me away like a Mary Poppins with my little umbrella for sure if I go outside right now. But we love you guys so much. Thank you for being here and being with us. A lot of institutions are behaving like businesses, all about the money. Yeah, especially the for-profit, right? That's for sure, neoliberalism. Noni, what's up? I'm in the Bay now, so we can have lunches. Good evening, Kim. How's Europe? For sure. Love you guys. We'll see you next week. I will have an interview with an author. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
I started in the silence, behind closed doors. Dreams too loud to keep tucked in the floorboards. Late nights, broke days, no applause in sight. Just coffee, hustling that fire to fight. They said, play small, but I'm built to expand. No silver spoon, just grit in my hand. I will every note, like armor and steel. Visibility's a battle, but I'm real and I heal. From invisible threads to the front of the stage, I'm rewriting the script, turning scars into page. Level up, rise above the fear. Let them hear your voice, make your purpose clear. Every step, every stumble, every tear in the rough. You were made for this moment, you are enough. Level up, break through the doubt. Turn the whispers of your past into a victory shout. You ain't just chasing clout, you're building a legacy. Now the world's gonna see what they couldn't believe. Yeah, yeah. What they couldn't believe. See the back end, just a headline glow. But success is built slow, where the struggle don't show. Algorithms change, but your mission's divine. You're the brand, you're the vision, you're the power behind. You gave free just to prove you have value inside. Now it's invoices paid and your name amplified. You're not just in business, you're changing the game. And your visibility, that's more than a name. No more shrinking, this is expansion. No more asking, this is commanding. You've been the spark, now you're the flame. Entrepreneur by fire, fueled by name. Level up, rise above the fear. Let them hear your voice, make your purpose clear. Every step, every stumble, every tear in the rough. You were made for this moment, you are enough. Level up, break through the doubt. Turn the whispers of your past into a victory shout. You ain't just chasing clout, you're building a legacy. Now the world's gonna see what they couldn't believe. Yeah, what they couldn't believe. To the late nights, the lost friends, the risks you took, to the brand you built and the space you shook. Here's your crown, your moment, your spotlight beam. You didn't just chase the dream, you became the dream.